Welcome back to Case Closed, Anime Review, episode number 29. Yeah, two Case Closed videos the same day. Normally, when I did this previously, it was because, well, I split up one of the seasons into two parts. Well, in the case, the last one, multiple parts. First episode to deal with a new episode of the series, episode 946. The Curse of the Borgia Part 1. And wow, such an improvement over the last three episodes that aired after the last canon case came out. This one starts off with a body being found in a car that apparently has been there for like 40 years. In behind a dam that apparently was supposed to be water there, but it says, oh yeah, worst job in 50 years. There's all these houses around. Not sure where they came from. They built this dam there. Okay. So then we have this woman basically to the Moore Detective Agency, where you have this woman named Sasumari, which I'm like, okay, second series I've seen basically with a character named Sasumari, first being Baruto, though this is a completely related character. Yeah, where she's the granddaughter of the victim who was found at the beginning of the episode. And basically she's talking about how this particular ring disappeared and she was transporting it. Richard Moore basically agrees to help her and calls up Inspector McGuire. Yeah. I should point out, though, there are no cops in this whole episode. Nope, no appearance by the police. The entire thing. The only regular characters who appear in this episode just Richard Moore, his beautiful daughter Rachel, and Conan. There's mention of Sichi, of Jimmy. That's it. Yep, a three-person episode. Richard Moore doesn't really do very much in the episode. It's like he chose to call up McGuire, can't do anything. This rule is sort of a possible suicide. And then he disappears throughout most of the episode until he shows up toward the end where he goes visit his friend, Milwaukee, I think his name is, and he goes to visit him to basically talk to him about the case. And he's basically knocking at his door, and there's also trucks with beams driving past him. And then he walks inside, starts smelling something burning, and then we see that it opens up the door, he partially gets burned in a comically fashion like he usually does. And the scene ends with basically with a guy laying out, seeing a guy unconscious, and that's the last you see of him the whole episode. Yep, as for what Conan and Rachel up to, they go with somebody, just walk, and they basically just talk about basically the disappearance. And then they run into an old friend of her grandmother's who mistake her for being her grandmother. One of like three characters to do that. Because, well, they later point out, though, that she has such a striking resemblance to her grandmother that they immediately assume that it's actually her, even though it's not really her at all. I'm like, okay, not the first series I've seen like this, where the grandchild of one particular person has such a striking resemblance to the way he or she looked when he was younger. The last time I saw this was in One Piece. Yes, where you have the grandson of one particular pirate, which is pointed out by another pirate, to have such a striking resemblance to when he was younger. This time it's basically a woman, not a guy this time. And he just basically goes, I think he was basically part of the writing staff of this TV drama called I Killed Them. And they show off like pictures, they show her grandmother basically in this flashback along with this actress. Never what their name is. And then they just, show flat. Apparently, the way to calm her down is to have her peel apples, okay? And apparently, she later, as soon as they finished filming, the actress she collapsed while suffering a 40 degrees Celsius fever. Yeah, she must have had a really big headache. So, and then they go visit her. In a nursing home goes a guiding light. Yeah, and this place is very suspicious. Like, apparently they somehow lost her. Somehow. It's never explained. And then Conan basically sees where her room is, goes to visit her, and they don't show their one-on-one conversation. And then she's basically have Rachel and Sumri basically leaving, and Conan's like, hey, come up here. And then they go visit them, and apparently the nurse basically doesn't say anything about Conan being there. It's like, oh, what are you doing here, boy? Yeah. Doesn't say anything about, oh, look, these two young ladies want to see you. Doesn't say anything about a little boy being there. Yeah, apparently she just doesn't see him. And then she sees Sumeri, she basically yells at her, like, thinks she's basically Yuri, her grandmother. And then she suffers sort of a hysteria attack, like a panic attack, and then they go wait, and he says, nope, come back another day. For some reason, don't know why. And then they about to leave, and they run to their festival mentioned a couple times in the episode. And, oh yeah, he's apparently 88 years old now, and third character who knows her grandmother mistakenly claims it's her, and of course claim he's in love with her, even though she's embarrassed by it. And of course they talk about how the tears of Borgia, the jewels, the ring was actually a fake. Yes, it was a fake, and the studio really wanted to prove these things were freaking real, even though they really weren't. Yeah, they're talking for a while, and then Rachel gets a phone call from McGuire. It is only her appearance in the episode via telephone call. You don't hear him. And it's, oh yeah, father was caught in a fire, and of course she's crying. And then the episode ends with basically the building Rich Moore was in just kind of basically was collapsing. Don't know if he got out of there or not. And that's how the episode ends. I'm like, okay. I admit, this is a much better episode than it was basically the last two filler cases. But it starts off really good, interesting story. And then there's some stuff that basically is never explained. Like, how the heck, like, how does he know this particular person who appears at the beginning of the episode? And what the heck happened? Yes. And also, like, when in the world this place catch on fire? And how the Richard, now, I get maybe how Richard Bahari knew where this guy lived. Because he mentioned they're all drinking buddies. Okay, so I can understand how he knew where he lived. It's just that, well, I don't mind him doing the whole comic thing. He just kind of brushed off with basically near real on fire. That's fine because he's basically a comic relief show. At least he's basically in character. But I'm like, okay, so it takes him, like, he appears like beginning of the episode, and then he doesn't appear again for most of the episode until toward the very end, where he appears for, I'd say, about 3 minutes. Yeah, he's got like less screen time than he normally does, which is kind of weird. And also, for an episode basically featuring two murders, no police, seriously? I mean, the last two-part actually bowed the feet to the police. This one, nope. You have McGuire being mentioned, but that's it. But at least next week's episode, we're having Agasa make his return. I think it's been like a good few episodes. I think last time he appeared was actually in the two-parter, The Search for Mari-chan. So next week will be first time in 5 episodes he's physically appeared. I mean, it's great the fact Rachel appeared. I mean, for her, it's only been like, as this episode, only been like 4 episodes her last appearance, but Conan and Richard basically appeared in the last episode. But yeah, much better episode than it was for the last one. But yeah, stuff basically kind of left some unexplained at the end of the episode. Hopefully, next week's episode will resolve. Looks like Conan is going to visit the film site next week's episode. That's all you get from the preview. It's like you don't see any other characters going to pop up aside from Agasa. I'm like, did Conan manage to call Agasa after they decided to leave, or at least Rachel go visit Richard? Yeah, I'll find out next week. But this was definitely a good episode overall. Okay, so that's it for this particular review. My next review I'm going to do is a review of the newest chapters, because I'm reviewing basically a regular chapter and bonus chapter of One Punch Man and that Comic Corner. And after that, back to the movies, where I'm going to do the second film of the series, and I'm going to do my movie reviews, basically reviewing the last 2 Roger Moore films. Okay, but these are the next few. Bye.